What I did, what I did was first thing I changed its string to a lower string just to avoid any issues with um capitalization or not. And then I created an empty dictionary that I named word dictionary. And then I looked through string one and I said if the character is in a word dictionary, then increment that character. If it's not, then add that character and increment it to one. So, and I printed that out first, and I had my character in the dictionary with one, since this first example is charm, so each letter appears one. And then I said for character in string two, which in this case would be March, if that character is not in the dictionary, which already has string one in it, return false. If it is, return true. Let me see where I am. Test it. Okay. And I got true, false, true. So I did have, I think, an issue with the test when I tried to run that. So I think it gave me spec I hold on. I think okay, still reading the other one. Let me comment that out.
Okay.
Yeah, so it gives me true for this one, which is pretty much the same thing in the first this one, and it's giving me false when I run it this way, but when I run it with the test, it gives me true.
Yes, and I believe it should, just based on how you have that test written.
Oh, ow.
Because its character match is returning false, and because false is equal to false, it will return true.
Oh, so it is supposed to return all true. That's why this comment is here. And you know what? I saw it, but I was like, I don't get it. And I just kind of kept going, but that makes sense now. Okay, okay.
Right on. That's a very interesting solution. I never would have thought to utilize dictionaries for this, but I like that. I could see your line of thinking there. That's definitely a very creative approach. Awesome work.
Thanks. Thanks.
Cool. Anyone else?
I can share. I kind of use a somewhat similar approach.
Right on. Let's see it.
So I basically made, you guys can see it.
Mhm.
I basically made two dictionaries and then just, um, if they're equal to each other, then it returns true. And then if not, it returns false.
Okay. Okay. So in each dictionary, you are also using lower to set each character to a lowercase. And
Yeah, so if I wanted to actually check for case sensitive, I could just delete the lower.
you want to try running it as it is now, and then we'll try running it with lower erased. Right on.
Erase these puppies.
Awesome.
Hey, could you explain that zero in like line 5 and line 7 after char? Yeah, what exactly is that? I haven't seen that before.
So it's I guess you could call it a built-in method, or it basically you can create a dictionary that if the character doesn't exist in the dictionary yet, then set it equal to 0, and then you add 1 to it. And then if it already exists, you just add 1 to it. So it just
Oh,
like counts the all the letters, the occurrences of things within a string or an array.
okay. Thanks.
Right on. That's pretty cool. Did you try running the character match spec?
I did. I got false for the last one for some reason. Which I guess it's supposed to be true.
I'm thinking it must be those spaces that's throwing it off.
Yeah, it could be.
Let's go back to your code and see what's happening. Let's walk through it step by step.
Well, the spaces, well, I guess can a key in a dictionary be a space?
Yes.
So that's definitely it then.
Mhm.
How come they didn't do that for mine though? I'm confused now. Because I also use a dictionary, and that last test was true for me.
That's a good question. Let's see. If we were to walk through this right here, in the second string, word to dictionary will get the character at each index of this string, the second one with spaces.
Yeah, I mean, I could toss an if statement in there. Something like if something like that.
Mhm.
Did Tomiwa create a list out of his string first?
No, I didn't. No, I just turned it to all lowercase.
Let's see. It may have something to do with the lower function itself. So I'm going to pull up.
I did one quite different. I'd used lower, a sorted list.
Mhm.
You want me to stop sharing so someone else can see, or
Sure.
should I just keep plugging away here?
You could stop sharing so somebody else can share. And then once you're done with yours, we could revisit it.
All right.
I had a pretty different solution as well, I think.
Sure, let's take a look.
Mine works now, by the way.
Okay, can you see my code? So I just wrote just a normal loop and looped through the first string. And then I put these comments up here because if you want to check for not, or if you don't want it to be case insensitive, then you just get rid of the lowers, or you just don't make everything the same case before you check. But Python has a built-in count method, and it will count all the occurrences of something in a string. So I just looped through the first string and compared if the second string had the same counts or not, and then returned false. And then if it makes it all the way through, then we know we can return true.
Okay. And how did the spec test work for you? Did this count as true for the final test?
I haven't been doing the spec test this whole class, or yeah, I've asked a little bit about the spec test for JavaScript and Python, but I generally just delete everything and then just write my code and then copy whatever tests are in there and check them that way.
Let's copy that last test and see what it turns out.
This one.
Mhm.
Ooh. Ooh, it comes up false too, probably because of the spaces as well.
Yeah, it's
And
gotta
then
be.
I guess same thing. I could probably just write a check in here to just tell it to ignore it if it's a space.
Right. Let's see, Ken, let's see how you implemented your check.
Sure. I just tossed in a if else statement. If the character is space, then skip. Else, add it, count it in the dictionary. And then this is the results from the spec test.
Right on. Okay, now I want to see, tell me why your answer again. I want to see why yours passed. Let's go back to your code.
Usually is bigger. Okay. But I don't think a space can be a key in a key value pair.
Why
Well,
not?
I have no idea. That's just the understanding that I've been going by. I don't know. Because that's why I didn't account for it.
Let's can we run some on the word on your dictionaries, and then we'll run your code. Let's see what they turn out.
Say it again, sorry.
Let's run some prints on your dictionary so we could see what they contain.
Okay. I guess I could just print here.
Gotta be inside.
Well, I mean, it's a functional scope, so it should print. Oh, I think let me see. Sorry, I think I'm on the wrong one. No, I'm not. Oh,
I think you have to CD into the Python folder. Maybe. Or never mind.
just don't have a you know. Okay, there we go.
Okay, let's run it with that last test instead. With the what is that? Anna and Madrigal, a man and a girl.
Okay. Or do you want to just yeah.
Okay, look. So it looks like we do have empty, well, not really empty, but we have spaces as strings that are
Huh.
being counted. But I believe it's that second for block that you have that's causing the test to return true. We're checking for the character we're checking actually against whether the character is in the dictionary or not. But because the character is in the dictionary, regardless of whether there's a match, it's returning true. It's not accounting for the difference in the length, the second string or dictionary, I should say, technically being longer because it has more spaces. Or let me put it this way. As a string, a man and a girl is longer than Ana Madrigal, but a dictionary would essentially have the same number of keys. It would just be counting a higher value for the space.
That does make sense. Okay, so like the space in and a madrigal would just be, I guess, 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the space in a man and a girl would be 1, 2, 3, 4, but it was just be 1 space and then 4. I guess a value. That didn't make sense though, but
So Philip, can I mean not Philip, sorry, Julius. Like I know sometimes in JavaScript, if I've created a dictionary and I look through and I ask if it has that key, if it has that key, it will like do whatever I asked it to, but it does not account for the number of that key, or should I say, it will look for the value and grab the value, but it doesn't account for the I'm sorry, grab the key, but doesn't account for the value. So like you were saying, it knows that there's a space in the other dictionary. So it's saying like, yeah, okay, there is a space, so that is true, but it doesn't account for whether or not there's 1 space in one string versus 3 spaces in the other string. Is that right?
Correct. It doesn't inherently do that, but Tomewa's function, what he built here, does. He built his function to add count for the number of spaces, and inherently that's not something that you could expect the dictionary to do.
Nice.
Doesn't his check not properly check it though because of that? Because like if they're anagrams, like you got to compare the counts. You can't compare the keys. Like I think if you were to add like another A to charm or something, like his probably would still return true because they have all the same keys.
Exactly. That's why the final test returned true.
So add another A to charm and another A to march.
Mm-hmm. It will return true, or add another A to just one of those and leave the second A out of march.
Oof, sorry. Huh. Yeah, it's a good edge case. I totally missed. Okay.
Anyone have any ideas on how we would modify this code to get past this?
Like Tommy was specifically.
Mm-hmm.
You
We
could
could just check for the value, right?
You could add for char not in word dictionary, and if the count is not the same.
Oh, and if char,
And yeah,
char not in dictionary, and
I don't know what the syntax would be. Tell me why. I've never done it for a dictionary, but like something like
You could probably use what Phil used for the count thing.
yeah, I used it in my solution, but I didn't use it for a dictionary. I just used it for a regular list.
I think you could access the dictionary and just compare it. So you're accessing it with char. So if you put the dictionary, I guess what's it called, like word dict? Or well, you only have 1 dictionary, right?
You can also modify that for statement so that you're not only checking for char, but you're also checking for the value of char. So after char, you could add a comma. And now we could have, I don't know, exactly, val for value. Now we could use val to create our comparison.
Okay, so I can say if char not in word dict and
val does not equal val or something like that.
what is val though? Would that only be if you're looping through a dictionary?
Yeah, val, because dictionaries consist of key value pairs. If you look at his terminal, those numbers are the values associated with the letters, which are the keys.
But he's looping through a string, right?
You're right. He is looping through a string.
Yeah.
He would have to be looping through the dictionary for that to work. So
I would try utilizing a nested loop, because if you nest them, then it doesn't matter if there's a space or not. Once it sees that one letter matches the other, it's just going to add it.
Okay.
If
Okay,
that makes sense. So maybe
Yeah, I
put
think I see
the
what
string
it-
2 into your string 1 loop.
Say that again.
So this may be a major adjustment, but maybe try putting the string 2 loop into the string 1 loop somehow.
Okay, is it nested for loop?
Yeah.
I think there's something in the chat that would work.
Or
One thing
work
he
equals string to account.
one
well, let's try this one solution at a time. So I believe Chris had talked us through his suggestion. Let's try that first.
Okay, what was the suggestion, Chris?
I would suggest putting the string 2 for loop, the entire thing, somehow inside of string 1. So when they compare, it doesn't matter if there's a space or not. It's either going to accept this space or not, and then send the letter to the object or the dictionary.
Okay, so okay, so loops in string 1, loops in string 2, and say if char not any of the
So I would put maybe if
I left okay. Does that look okay? What you were suggesting?
um, look real quick.
So, but for this char right here on line 10, would that be like which, or should I change one of these variable or iterator name, whatever, to something?
Yeah, I think that's a good start, is to change one of those. The
It would make it less confusing, but it's not necessarily it would still work. Essentially, what's going to happen here is it starts with the first character in string 1, and then it's going to start with the first character in string 2. It will run through all the characters in string 2 before it moves on to the next character in string 1.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, so basically you have to compare those two, and then let me see here. Yeah, so if the letter in string 2 equals the letter in string 1, then you want to append that into the dictionary or add it. So we just have to code that to kind of make that work. That's how,
Okay, like which line, and say that again?
yeah, so I'd start on line 10.
Mm-hmm. You said of the character.
Yeah, I would do like if character equals the one in string 2 equals the one in string 1, then somehow I used an array or a list in this rather than a dictionary. So I just, if the letter in string 1 matches the letter in string 2, kind of you want to push whatever that value is into wherever you're storing it.
Okay, so I'll have to create another array. Yeah, I feel like I'm probably gonna need more time to.
For line 10, should you be comparing the string one, like the after you lowercased it, instead of the original string one, string
Yeah.
2?
Thanks for that.
Gosh.
Then you said append it to. Call it.
Yeah, can you console log or print those?
Print what?
Can you print string underscore 1 and 2? Yeah, right after that. Those two variables.
String 1 first.
The char. String 1 char, string 2 char. And then I'd move it up into line 11. I don't know if that matters or not after the conditional. It may not. I don't think you need the brackets. I think you can just do the char. I feel like I'm making you change a lot of code now. I feel bad.
You're fine. I'm just trying to understand what do you mean do the chart.
Okay.
So you just want the indices, because that's what that would print, right? Hold on.
No, so we want the letter. So whatever.
Yeah, I think this is what it's supposed to print the letter, but then it's saying I can't compare those because the string indices must be integers, not strings. And I don't know why there would be strings.
So I think just to help with confusion, if you could take the char in string 1 and maybe put a 1 after it.
Better.
The char and the brackets I think is probably what's messing you up.
Yeah, I don't think
That's a
you
string,
need
not a
string 1
number.
brackets.
On what line?
Line 11.
Okay, so just remove the brackets.
Uh,
No, just put in a letter. And then for string 2 char, you can put in letter 2.
Put in letter as well.
So on line 10, if you go to char, and then let's do that letter 2.
Make this letter as well.
Yes, sir. Letter 2, just for ease,
Okay.
readability. Now, I don't think you need string 1 brackets letter. I think it's just letter equals letter 2. And then you should be able to change the prints just so you
Okay, so just print letter 2.
Yeah, just to see what the outputs are.
Let me just comment the rest of this out so it doesn't try and open it.
I would do them next to each other. It'll populate them if you put letter 2 next to letter 1.
Another comma.
No, you can actually just put a comma right next to the letter in the first one.
Within the parentheses is I think what he means.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So they'll be side by side. I usually do that for nested loops that typically, there we go.
Okay, so let's just do one because it's like a long string and it's
Okay.
kind of throwing me off.
So my suggestion was, if you do a nested for loop, it doesn't matter if there's spaces or not.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna have to go back. I feel like I'm just gonna have to go back and look for a different way of going through it. But yeah, so I'm not taking up all the time.
Okay. Sorry if I made you change a lot of code there.
Oh no. It's
That
I
wasn't
need
my
to
intention.
account for that edge case, so that's
Okay.
a good idea though. Thank you.
Regardless, we've gone over the solution, we know how to solve it. I think this is still very valuable. It's pushing your communication skills and it's pushing you guys to become a little more comfortable with that and how you articulate one another, which is going to be a very key component of working on a team as a software engineer. All right, how's everyone feeling?
Good.
Right on. Okay. I'm gonna go back to my list here real quick. I think we're probably gonna need the rest of the evening to work on the other challenge of the credit number validation. And I would like you all to work in pairs for this next one. Feel free to choose your pairs. We do have an even number, so everyone should be able to pair up. And let's take a break. Let's reconvene at 7:30. I have the breakout rooms open, so just join your pairs into a breakout room, and I will give you all until about 8:15, maybe 8:30, depending on how much time you all need before we start going over the answers. How does that sound? Right on. All right, great work so far, everyone. See you in a bit.